Hello everybody, this is me Vinu Venkatesh on behalf of Sai Education for Competitive Examinations. So we've been doing height and distance. Let's continue the topic and let's start question number 2. So whenever you're given height and distance questions, please try and draw them. Okay, so for that you have to read the question carefully. From a point P on the level ground, the angle of elevation of the top of the tower is 30 degrees. When they say angle of elevation, always remember that the angle is going like this. That is from bottom to top. Okay. Angle of depression would be the opposite. For example, here, this would be the angle of depression because it is looking down. But when you say angle of elevation, it is looking up. So it is this angle. Of the top of a tower is 30 degrees. If the tower is 100 meters high, the distance of point P from the foot of the tower is what? So let us draw the diagram. Let OT be the tower. Okay, it is 100 meters high. Then you have a point P from and when you're looking at the top of the tower from point P, the angle of elevation is 30 degrees. So we are asked to find the distance of the point P from the foot of the tower. The foot of the tower is the bottom of the tower. So we have to find OP. Okay. Now OT is the perpendicular and OP is the base of this triangle, right? And we know from our formulae that tan theta is equal to the perpendicular height divided by the base. So we know this theta we know is 30 degrees. So tan 30 degrees is equal to 100 divided by OP. We know from our formulae, that table that I showed you last time, that tan 30 is 1 by root 3. When you solve for OP, you will get 100 into root 3 and root 3 is 1.732 actually, but they have just taken 1.73 here. That's okay. Into 100 will give you 173 meters. Remember in our previous section when we were doing square roots, you were asked to memorize common square roots like root 2, root 3, root 5 and so on. Root 2 is 1.414, root 3 is 1.732 and root 5 is 2 point something. So please memorize that. It will only help you. So the answer is 173 meters. Okay, so we are right. Number 3 is similar to number 2, so please do it by yourself. And number 4, okay. See, in these cases you should try and draw the diagram. It's very important. Okay. Now an observer is 1.6 meters tall. An observer 1.6 meters tall is 20 root 3 meters away from a tower. Okay. So let us draw this diagram. Let OM be the observer. 1.6 meters is his height. He is 20 into root 3 meters away from a tower. Let the tower be TQ. Okay, that's what we know so far. Let's see what the question has to say. The angle of elevation from his eye to the top of the tower is 30 degrees. What is the height of the tower? So this is the observer OM. Let M be his eye. So from M to the top of the tower Q, the angle of elevation is 30 degrees. What are they saying? What are they asking? The height of the tower. We have to find out what is TQ. Okay. Now, it is natural, it is okay to assume that, see, this is 90 degrees, this is 90 degrees. So it is correct to assume if we draw a line here, let us call it MN, line segment. So OM is equal to TN, which is equal to 1.6 meters. Why? Because when we draw a line 0.6 meters. Why? Because when we draw a line here, perpendicular to this tower, this will be 90. This we know it is 90. Obviously, this is also 90. So this is 90. Why? Because the sum of all angles in a quadrangle is 360 degrees. What is a quadrangle? A quadrangle is a polygon, that is a figure with more than one side, with more than two sides, which has, a quadrangle is a polygon with 4 sides. It is called quadrangle or 4 angles. So if the sum of all the angles of a quadrangle is 360 degrees and we know that 3 of them are 90 each, then the 4th angle will also be 90. 90 into 4 is 360. Okay, so then this becomes a rectangle. So OM will be equal to TN, which is 1.6 meters. MN will be equal to OT, which is 20 into root 3 meters. Okay, Now we have a triangle here. We want to know this perpendicular height so that we can add this and this to get the height of the tower. What do we have? The base. So which formula can we use? Tan. So same way, tan theta is equal to Qn divided by 20 into root 3. See? Right? So tan 30 is equal to 1 by root 3. Right? When you solve, you will get, so they have used different words, letters here, DE. You will get Qn is equal to 20 meters, and when you add 20 to 1.6 you will get 21.6 meters as the height of the tower. This is the same thing, I have just used different letters. Alright, let's go to number 5. Let's move on to number 5. Two ships are sailing in the sea on two sides of a lighthouse. Okay, so the angles of elevation of the top of the lighthouse as observed from the two ships are 30 degrees and 45 degrees respectively. If the lighthouse is 100 meters high, the distance between two ships is what? Let us first draw the diagram, because if you don't get the diagram correct, then your understanding of the question is wrong, answer will be wrong. So let OL be the lighthouse, let S1 be the first ship, let S2 be the second ship, and we are told that they are on both sides of the lighthouse, and the lighthouse is 100 meters high, OL is 100 meters. Okay, they are saying the angle of elevation from one ship is 30 degrees and the angle of elevation from the second ship, when we view the top of the lighthouse from the second ship, is 45 degrees. Now 30 degrees is a lesser angle, smaller angle than 45 degrees. The farther the point is away from this O, the angle will get smaller. Okay, see. So, but the closer you come, the angle will get bigger. That means OS1 is greater than OS2, because here the angle of elevation is larger. So larger the angle, the closer you are to this point. The closer you are to this point, the larger the angle. The further away you are from this point, the smaller the angle. So OS1 is greater than OS2, or OS2 is less than OS1. Okay, just for information purpose. Now we are asked to find the distance between the two ships. So we have to find OS1 plus OS2. Okay, we have to find this length. How do we do that? We know that tan 30 is equal to the perpendicular height divided by this base of this triangle. So tan 30 is equal to OL divided by OS1. We know tan 30 is 1 by root 3, therefore OS1 is 100 into root 3 meters. Similarly, for this triangle, tan 45 is equal to 100 divided by OS2. Tan 45 is equal to 1, therefore OS2 is equal to 100. Therefore, distance between the two ships is 100 root 3, which is OS1, plus OS2, which is 100. So we know root 3 is 1.732, so 100 into 1.732 is 173.2 plus 100, which is 273.2 meters. Here they have rounded it off, and that is also correct, 273 meters. So remember one thing, whenever you're given questions relating to height and distance, please draw the diagram and make sure it is correct. Okay, let's move on to number 6. A man standing at a point P is watching the top of a tower which makes an angle of elevation of 30 degrees with the man's eye. So let point P be where the man is standing and watching. Let this be the top of his head. Let OT be the tower. So we are saying that the angle of elevation from his eye to the top of the tower as he sees it forms an angle of 30 degrees. Okay, so that's what we have. So we have an angle OPT, and a triangle OPT. Okay, then the man walks some distance towards the tower. So from P, let us assume he moves to Q to watch it stop, and the angle of elevation becomes 60 degrees. What is the distance between the base of the tower and point P? So he has walked from P to Q and he's still looking at the top of the tower. So the angle of elevation now is 60 degrees. Remember in question 5 I said in a triangle, the further one point is away from the other, the angle of elevation is smaller. The closer you get to this point, to the vertex of a triangle, the angle of elevation increases, right? So here it is clearly given that from P he moves towards the tower. Let us assume it is point 2. Then they are saying the angle of elevation at this new point is 60 degrees, which is greater than 30. Why is it greater than 30? Because Q is closer to O than P. P is farther away from O, therefore it forms a smaller angle of elevation. But when the man moves from P to Q, which is closer to O, the angle of elevation increases. We are asked to find the distance OP. Can we do it? Can we use tan theta, sin theta, cos theta? We can't, because we are not given the height of the tower, we are not given the length of the hypotenuse. So we don't have enough information, right? So the answer here is data is inadequate. One of AB, that is the height of the tower, or AD, right? One of these bases, or CD, or even the hypotenuse should have been given. So since that is not given, we cannot find this information. Number 7 and 8 are similar. So I would like you to try it out on your own. They're similar to 6, except that the information is given, so you can actually calculate the required distance. So please try it out on your own. Okay, let's move to question number 9. A man is watching from the top of a tower, a boat speeding away from the tower. Okay, so let ON be the tower and the man is standing here. So he's watching a boat, let it be B1, and it is moving away from the tower. So the boat is moving in this direction. Sorry, my pen is not working. Yeah. The boat is moving away from the tower, okay? So where are we? The boat makes an angle of depression of 45 degrees with the man's eye at a distance of 16 meters from the tower. So let this be the point where the boat is, B1, and this is 60 meters away from the tower. It makes an angle of depression. So when they say angle of depression, it is a hint that it is obviously somebody looking from the top of a tower or a hill or something, looking down. So the boat from here, from the point of the boat, the man is standing on the tower and looking at the boat. Let this be his line, let this be his eyesight, okay? This is his line of sight. It is creating an angle with the boat, and that is called the angle of depression, and it is 45 degrees, okay? Then after 5 seconds, the angle of depression becomes 30 degrees. What is the approximate speed of the boat? What is the approximate speed of the boat, assuming that it is running in still water? So after 5 seconds, the angle of depression, it becomes 30 degrees. So we know that the boat is moving away from the tower. We also know that the angle of depression has decreased from 45 to 30 degrees. So this is a clear indication that the boat is definitely moving away from the tower, because we know that as we learned in the previous examples, the further the point is away from the vertex of the triangle, the smaller is the angle of depression or angle of elevation. The closer the point is to the vertex of the triangle, the larger is the angle of elevation or angle of depression. We have seen this in question number 6 also, where we talked about it. This is the same thing, okay? So we're asked to find the speed of the boat. So we know that tan theta is equal to perpendicular divided by base. So we take tan 45 is equal to OM divided by base OB1, which is 60 meters. Tan 45 degrees is equal to 1, therefore OM is equal to 60 meters, which is the height of the tower. Similarly, we find tan 30 is equal to OM divided by OB2. Where are we? OM divided by OB2. Tan 30, so tan 30 is 1 by root 3, which is equal to 60, which is OM, which we got here, divided by OB2. OB2 is OB1 plus B1, B2. So OB1 we know is 60. So when we let x be equal to b1, b2, that is this distance, b1, b2, and b2 is the point where the angle of depression is 30 degrees. So when you solve for x, you will get x as 60 root 3 minus 60, which is 60 into 1.732. So x you will get it as 43.92 meters. So this is the distance traveled. B1, B2, that is 43.92 meters, is the distance traveled in 5 seconds. So what is the speed of the boat? It is distance divided by speed. You remember the formula? So it will be 43.92 meters divided by 5 seconds, which is 8.784 meters per second. That is the speed. They have converted it into kilometers per hour. It is the same thing, but you will see you'll get the same answer. There is a slight rounding of difference, but the answer is the same. So I hope this is clear. I hope you're understanding what is angle of elevation, what is angle of depression. I hope you're trying to see the hint that the question gives you, whether the point is closer to the vertex or farther away from the vertex. Please continue practicing. We will continue the lecture in our next class. Until then, all the best and take care.